We are live. How we doing, everybody? It is June. You joking? June the 6th. It is lovely and blue outside in England, southern England right now. It is a fantastic, it was a bit murky at the start of the day, but now it's lovely. If anyone that's follows me on Instagram, I had a lovely bit of crazy golf. Oh, love a bit of crazy golf. Dinosaurs, in between all the holes. I was that close to a hole in one. I was that close to about 7 of them, really, but could only got one on camera. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, had a good day. I hope we're all good. Look at all of us. Mr. French Fries Monsters here. Michael Wild, how are you, my friend? Tiote Nelson's here. Yes. Joe said, this is. I'm a bit scared about this. I'm putting this up on my TV for maximum effect. Oh my God, you need to put this on the smallest screen possible, my friend. An iPhone 3. That would definitely have the most effect to this show. Don't you worry about that. Rory's here. How are you, Rory? Gareth, nice to see you, my friend. I love that. Good morning, good afternoon, evening, everyone. He's absolutely spot on. Ben Rastafari, super nice to see you, my friend. Veronica's here. I love to see that pair every Sunday. That beautiful profile. Yes, Mr. French Monster. Yes, Glenn's here. Oh my, Glenn is a little half cut, but nice to see you here, my friend. Roar the Tiger. Tim Time Collector's here. Look at this. Tim, it's a pleasure to have you here, my friend. Stuart Ross is here. Mr. Barry Gelvin's here. How are you, my friend? Thank you very much for turning up. This is fantastic. Ken Spear, Martin Maguire. It's a pleasure to have you aboard, team, isn't it? Yeah, so I don't have my lights today. I forgot them, just as I did Mr. Pagani, yeah, I don't know why. I usually always remember these lights. It's a good job it's quite bright out still, because you wouldn't be able to see anything. Wataki's here, yes. Shaker Maker, great vibes. Makes me think of Oasis. I'm going to talk about a bit of Oasis later on, my friend. Egbert's here. Christian Grenouille from Switzerland. Look at this. Talk about watches, and here he is, Christian, talking from, at the minute, the motherland, isn't it, of refined watches and sought after watches. How are you? PK UK. What I'm going to do, while Christian, you reminded me, is I am going to make a list of all of the countries you are watching from, and I want to see if we can get, I just want to see how many we get. So on the comments, if you're not from England, so if you are from Wales or wherever you are, please tell me where you are watching from, and I shall write it down. Average Joe is here. Give him a bit of a round of applause. He's just hit the 4,000 subscriber mark on his YouTube channel. He's just got married. It's roses everywhere for you, my friend, isn't it? Nice to see you here, my friend. You love this subject. Still got this horrible cough. It's just tickly. It's just annoying whenever I'm laughing, and I laugh all the time. It just makes me. George Kriaku from Cyprus, baby. I love it, my friend. Look at this. Denmark. Crikey, there's loads of T Wood. How are you? We got Roger from Canada. I love it. This is awesome. Well, it's a pleasure to have you aboard, isn't it? There's 53 of you already. I hope you've had a great weekend. I hope you've got out in the sun, if there is sun out there. Notice my t-shirt. I'm going all spring summer now. I've got my daughter's favorite color, which is purple. My wife's favorite color, that is green. And also, what colors are they? Yes, that's right. They are Wimbledon colors. So I'm going all out summer at the minute. Notice at the back, I've rejigged the studio. So the last show you saw, the Mass Arcticus show that came out yesterday, I stripped out a lot of the stuff that was behind me, and I've got Sakib's amazing Rolex picture, the GMT Master 2 picture in the background now, instead of all this stuff. This was actually in the background. You might not have known it, but yeah, there's this sort of stuff here. Big shout out to a friend of mine that very kindly sent in loads of gifts. So I'm not going to mention his name, but I have to say a big thank you very much to a certain gentleman that has showed me a lot of kindness. And actually, I've just got a PO box, and he was the first one that sent anything to that PO box. So he knows he's special. He sent me some amazing gifts, and this one, Team Wolf, is definitely one of them. I will proudly show him off on there, my friend. So that's cool, isn't it? Yes, thank you for everyone that has watched the Mass Irukanji. I know you might not have liked the watch, or you might not have heard the brand before, but I do absolutely love their dive watch, and I love what Matt and Tate do over there in Australia. Yeah, so I was pleased to, I would just say, yes, bring it over and I'll review it. It probably wouldn't be a watch that I'd buy myself, and I still would probably get the black dial of it, but still, you know, I really like the watch. It had the Miyota 9039, which is that very nice high beat, you know, sweeping seconds hand. No date. I do love a no date watch. Don't I? Hey, I do love a no date watch. Symmetry. There are 72 of you in the chat at the minute. Can you please click the like button of this show? Let's get this t-shirt out to a lot more people. Thank you very much for watching, you guys. What do we need to do now? I just can't remember. Get your watch out. Obviously, of course, this is when I show you my watch, and then you show or tell the world what you are wearing today. I am wearing the it's behind me, but I am wearing the Black Bay 58, baby, the ultimate homage. Ooh, we're getting into some murky waters, aren't we? Can you please tell me this before we start? This is the best diver I've ever had on my wrist. I don't know how I got that. I think that was from cycling, Brambles. It's the best diver I've ever had on my wrist. The 39, 46, and 11 measurements are probably my capolavoro, as a certain Italian Englishman would say, that we know about. I love this watch. It's just perfect for me, and it represents a lot of things that I love, with history and everything else. Let's look at this. So Michael, I mean, I could have guessed it was a CWC. He's got his beautiful G10 quartz on. He's not going to go wrong with that. Slicey Dicey, Brian's here. How are you, Brian? Also a comedian, and he's back on the circuit. If you like your blades, get over to Brian's channel. It is fantastic, and he's a very witty man. Sean, how are you? He's got the Vostok Scuba Dude on today. Built for anything, an apocalypse, an Armageddon, a nuclear strike. He's there. Castillo Jorge. He's got his Hamilton Field King. What a watch, my friend. What a great alternative to a Rolex Explorer if you are looking for that. But it's a superb watch. James has got one of the CW New Zealanders. That is a very nice watch, my friend. I hope to have. I've been trying to contact Christopher Ward on many occasions, and they've always let me down. So I'm very close to saying, there you go. You know, when I get my millions of subscribers, and you know, there's trillions of views going, and I get the old correspondence from Christopher Ward saying, hello, would you like to review one of our watches? No, you've let me down too many times. See you later. All right, just go. There's the door. There's the email door. So yes. Fraser Nass is here. Russ is here. He's got the Orient Kano. Mako, do you reckon that's the Mako? I think that probably is. John Buckmaster. What a name, Buckmaster. I'm sure Omega has come up with a watch called that. Metal G-Shock, lovely, my friend. Stuart Ross has got the G-Shock GD 400MB. I mean, it's that good. It's got 400 megabytes. It's fantastic. David Collado, lovely profile picture of a man and his best friend. There he is with the SNK 793. Oh, that's a nice watch. I do like that. Oh, here we go. Still, I was going to ask you about this, Average Joe. He's had this watch from Christopher Ward for I'd say about 6 months. And they don't want it back. You just keep quiet about it because that's a nice watch, isn't it? Very nice indeed. Slicey Dicey's got the Scuba Dude. No! Oh, no, it died. Surely you can get in there, Brian, and check out the engine on one of those bad boys. You could probably take a few bits out, leave a few bits out the engine, and I'm sure you can get it working, you know? This is good. Talk to the hand, Christopher. I know, Joe. I mean, it's you know, I might give him a couple more chances, but I've had a lot bigger brands treat me with a lot better service and possibly a bit more respect than Christopher Ward has. Not Christopher Ward, maybe Mr. Christopher Ward. I think he's gone now anyway, isn't he, Mr. Christopher Ward? He's sold up and he's out of there. Brian M, he's got the Heimdall Red Dial 2nd Gen Monster Homage. I love it. Oh my, what that? Because a greedy seller asked me, those are for a pristine set. Oh, yes. That is obviously a topic we're going to talk about, my friend. Absolutely. Purple Fax Man's got an Accurist on. PK UK's got a Smith Everest on. This is sensational. Psycho Foo's here. You know he's going to pipe up about the Heimdall. He's got 18 of them, all in different dials. No, I'm only joking. He does love his Heimdall. Very nice. Oh, Jason Stewart. Lucky enough to score a burnt orange Zelos double H3 in the first 2 minutes of the launch. That's good, mate, because after 2.5 minutes, they're all sold out. So Zelos are obviously doing something right, aren't they? So yes, absolutely fantastic. 81 of you in the show. I've got 2 from Ireland. This is fantastic. I've got Philadelphia, USA. I've got Ken Spear, USA. If you're new on the chat now and you didn't hear me just before, and if you haven't written down yet, tell me where you're watching from. I'd like to write a list of all the countries that we're all talking about this topic together and we're all discussing. I absolutely love it. Also, Daniel Rice, how are you, my friend? Also, a big apologies if I don't see all of your comments. I mean, I like talking to you and I give you a lot of respect. Obviously, but I don't like going to looking at the comments going like this. If I see something that, you know, pops out at me, I will obviously look at it. But obviously my wife does a lot of the moderating sometimes. And she said there was at least one guy that typed in, why do you not read my messages? Why do you not read my comments? Honestly, my friend, it's not, I don't do it on purpose. And I love everybody. It's just, there's too many going on at the same time. And I just can't see them all. If you desperately want me to see one of your comments, you know what to do. Give me a super chat. It can be £1, it can be £2, but what it does, it highlights to me. It comes up in white, blue, red, you know, in all sorts of colors, and I can see it. And I promise I will definitely read that one, obviously, you know what I'm saying? Oh, Rio de Janeiro, Korea, Hamilton Khaki Field, love it. Look at that. All those watches on at the same time. That is superb. Good. Yes, I love Canada. There's a lot of you from Canada, isn't it? It's brilliant, isn't it? Wow. So listen, let's just have a little Yeah, let's talk about the elephant in the room, shall we? Now I get a lot of uh, I get a lot of people message me and ask, what do you think about the Pagani Wasset? What do you think about the L'Oreal Wisset Wasset? What do you think about the Steel Dive Wada Wasset? Obviously, I'm very polite, obviously, and I like all watches, don't get me wrong. I've got nothing against what they bought or anything. Obviously on paper and what it looks, it looks really good, doesn't it? Because it's completely ripping off another watch, but it looks really nice. And obviously when you look at the specs look great as well. Sometimes the specs look better than what the original watch was, particularly if you're looking at the Steel Dive Willard, for example. The original Seiko Willard that came out, did not have the modern refined machine parts and the engine as the Willard NH35 has, it's a top movement. There's no bones about it. Now I am not for or against. I love all of you guys. You've got your own opinions and it's all subjective, isn't it? So we're not here to have a bash at anybody. I'm not here to have a bash at you and you're not here to have a bash at me. I'm going to tell you my opinion and my thoughts. And you are welcome. You are welcome to, shoot me down if you like, but keep it nice. Keep it nice. Let's keep it formal. I love you all, guys, and we're all here for one reason, to pay homage to everyone. Look at this from Average Joe. Smash that like button for my brother from Manada. Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you. Look at that, how bold it is in blue. Lovely, isn't it? The more expensive ones, Joe, are better colours, so I'm a little bit disappointed. But I'm only joking, my friend. Thank you. Sanjay's here from Engineer Wannabe. Great YouTube channel. That guy, Sanjay, you are getting watches left, right and centre. I'm very close to unsubscribing and stopping following from you, my friend, because you are making me too jealous, you son of a... calling in from Canada. Love it. So we're talking about homages. Now, let me tell you about me. Now, I come from a music background, a musical background. I first started writing my songs when I was about 16. You know that I'm only 24 now, so it's not that long ago, is it? I'm only joking. I'm a bit older than that. I got into music because of the likes of Oasis. Okay. Then I got into Joe, you son of a... Then I got into the Beatles, and then it was the Beatles that made me, whoa, let's have a look at the 60s. And it was the 60s music, particularly Paul McCartney and the Beatles as well, that really got me songwriting, it really got me inspired. Now there was a lot of course, we have to show this, don't we? Green is the new blue, matey. You don't do any more, for God's sake. I was only joking. John Buckmaster, with one of the best surnames in the business. Thank you very much, friend. It's very much appreciated, but I'm only joking. Look at that red one. That's a lovely one. So we've got a red one, we've got a green one, we've got a blue one. I don't have a black one yet, but that's fine. You just keep going, team. Now, yeah, so there was a lot of talk about how Oasis plagiarized the Beatles, didn't they? They took chord progressions, I think. They might have took a lyric or here or there or two, but if you put the Beatles side by side with Oasis, you can call them a true homage band. You can't, then definitely not a carbon copy, are they? You know what I mean? They are taking the inspiration from the Beatles, John Lennon, and I Am the Walrus and all that stuff, and then coming up with Wonderwall. Do you know what I mean? And they are too true. That's a true homage to me. So anyway, back to others. I was into the 60s, the Beatles music. Oh, Alfie, thank you very much, my friend. Thank you. The guitar's not here. Listen. Well, if we get to 100 viewers, I might get the guitar out. But listen, we'll see. So What you don't see. Now, my favourite song, what is it? My favourite song is probably Blackbird from the Beatles, the White Album. Probably also Yesterday. Now, Yesterday is one of the most covered songs of all time. Okay, covered songs of all time. But it's not as good as the original. The original is always going to be the best. Okay. Also, what Paul McCartney gets, or whoever owns the rights to that music, which may be Michael Jackson, from what I know, a little bit of royalty goes trickling along to Mr. McCartney or the Jackson family. You know, you can cover my song, but you must pay a royalty. Okay. Now listen, just remember that. Now, what I couldn't do as a band when I was growing up in a band, what we did, we played live. And obviously, when we played live in pubs, we didn't just play all of our own songs because no one would be interested. Okay. What we did is we played 3 big hits: Oasis, The Who, The Jam, or big hits like that from those guys. And then we snuck in one of our beauties or 2 of our songs, you know. Now, what we could not do the same thing selling CDs. We couldn't sell a CD with a Beatles song on it because we would get taken to court. Okay, that is a complete copyright issue there, and you're out. You are out of there, and the Beatles lawyers will be on my case, and I probably will not be able to afford this cup or water that's inside it right now, you know, 12 years down the line. Casio Corner, official merchandise found in the Linktree link below. So there. Now, the worst thing I can hear on the radio is when someone comes up and it's a cover of a song that you absolutely love, okay? And you're thinking, oh my God, you know, I might give it some time. I'll give it a listen. I'll give it a little listen. But oh God, it's the worst thing. If someone was to cover a Beatles song, oh my, I couldn't think of anything worse. Now, even worse than that, it might be a young little scallywag, a little young D-bag. Do you know what I mean? That the only talent they have is singing, and they basically sing what is being, you know, given to them. You know what I mean? They may not even know about the Beatles. Do you know what I mean? Now, their audience is a young audience, and that young audience might think, wow, look what he's done. He's made this amazing thing. This song is the best thing since sliced bread. Little do they know it was made 50 years ago by someone with a lot more talent. Do you know what I mean? That's the annoying thing. Now, there are some really intelligent people, okay, like young people that would go, let's look into this song. Oh, it wasn't written by Donkey Face. It was written by the Beatles. Let's look at the Beatles. And then you have this guy that looks up all the Beatles back catalogue and he is in love with it. Now, there'd only be 10% of those people that would do that. The other 90% would think that Yesterday was written by this donkey. Okay, and that's what really grinds me gears. I really don't like that. The thing is, the production will be much better than the 60s. The vocal may be much better than the 60s, but it ain't the original. All right, that's the thing that grinds me a little bit, you know. I know that if I was to write a Beatles song, record a Beatles song and put it out there, sell it on iTunes, put it on, what's the blooming thing that I'm doing right now? Spotify, that I get 0.00001 pence over, I would be taken in by the Beatles lawyers and I will get done. I will get done for it. So how the hell does a brand get away with completely copying a design of a watch? Now, I believe it's probably because Rolex has copied someone else, haven't they, in time, you know, and they copied someone else and that copied someone else and they copied someone else. You know what I mean? Whoever invented the clock or the watch surely has the copyright to watches, but it doesn't work like that, does it? So if Rolex was to say, right, I've patented this design, you can't do this one, all right, otherwise there's hell to pay. You know, a certain a Homage brand might say, yeah, but you didn't come up with the watch. You didn't actually make the watch. You didn't come up with the first diver. So I don't know if you've got any grounds for, talking me up. You know what I mean? So what they do is they can get away with it. They can get away with it. But there's no royalties to these companies. Now, I don't want to make Rolex more richer than they are. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to do it on purpose. But what I would say is I don't understand how they get away with it. That's the only thing. The only reason I can understand is if Rolex don't have the patent to any of their stuff because it's already been done. Okay, so that's it. Apart from the Oyster case, but the Oyster case has been copied, so I don't know what the flipping heck's going on. Now, listen. Oh, we've reached 100 viewers. I'm going to have to get my guitar out in a minute. Apologies. Jarrow, you son of a gun. Telescope. Oh, thank you, my friend. Thank you. Thank you very much for the support. If you know how I got the Rolex, though, it wasn't just by working as a tennis coach. Thank you, my friend. So I put sort of Homage stuff, and I've talked about it with James at Honest Watches, watch reviews. I've talked about it with Glyn as well, but James at Honest Watch Reviews, he is a fantastic reviewer of probably majority of Homage watches, and some of them are incredibly spec'd. The spec on them are just ridiculous. And as I said, they are better than some of the originals, aren't they? You know what I mean? They are better spec'd. And they are also, the other thing is, for reissues, like a Seiko has just reissued the Willard, you've got Steel Dive coming up with a Willard reissue that is a fifth of the price. It doesn't have Seiko on the dial, but it is a turtle case. It's the 6105. It looks like a turtle. It is a turtle. It crawls like a turtle. It is a turtle. It's got sapphire glass, for God's sake. It's got an NH35 inside it. It's got a Seiko movement inside it. It's trying to be a Seiko, and there's a Seiko engine inside it. What the heck is going on here? So Saqib's on air. Saqib, you'd have a Homage watch, wouldn't you, my friend? Oh, yes, you would. Now, I have got nothing against someone getting a Homage watch, okay? I'm going to tell you for why. There are reasons that I like. That's the reason why I don't own one, okay? I've given you my reasons. But if someone really loves this watch right here, Black Bay 58, okay? Black Bay 58 is £2,700 new, okay? All right, that is a lot of money, okay? I got this for my birthday, a big birthday. If I hadn't got it for my birthday, I'd still be saving for it, and I wouldn't have it now, okay? Now, we all know that there is a Pagani design, I think it's Pagani, that has a homage to a Black Bay, okay? I'm pretty sure it is. And for those that are desperate to have the snowflake hands and to have the look of the Tudor Black Bay, that's fine. You're entitled to go for it. The only thing I would say is you could spend £150 on a watch that is inspired by one like this, or let's say a Rolex Submariner, but it is a completely different character. It's his own puppy. Let's take, for example, the Casio Juro. Now, we all know that the inspiration for that, obviously, is a Submariner. It's a Rolex Submariner, isn't it? But what have we got? Have we got the picture? I don't even know if I got the picture. Let me show you. This is probably the biggest rant I've ever done. And I love you guys. And you're going to have your opinions on here as well. And I completely respect all of them, okay? Let's go to the Laurier Neptune. Okay, a Homage. This is the perfect Homage to me. A Tudor Black Bay 58 is as well. But you've got a watch that has the gilt hands, the gilt dial, the big crown from the early Rolex Submariners and the Tudor Submariners in the 50s. But you've got like an Omega 50s Omega Seamaster type case with those lugs. and with the bezel as well, maybe a little black bang in there a little bit. But look at the bracelet. The bracelet is their best micro brand bracelet you can find. And it's his own thing. It's his own thing. Now, yes, this isn't a great example of price wise because these are about $400, $500. But I just wanted to show you an example of a true homage. And a homage is, let me just have it out here. This is what we want. A special honor or respect shown publicly. A formal public acknowledgement of allegiance, which is found in the dictionary. That's the definition of homage. Now, do we think that Pagani, when they thought about bringing out a Submariner, had just absolute respect for Rolex and saying, I want to do something to show respect for Rolex? No flipping way. They wanted to make money fast with cheap cost. Okay, they got no respect for Rolex whatsoever. You know, come on now, let's face it. Let's think about this. What I said before of my music when I played live, we had to put in some covers in order for crowds to like us, and then we did our own songs, and then it got to the point where we just started playing live our own music. It was just our own songs, and we might have done in the encore, we might have done one Beatles song or something. Sanjay, thank you very much, my friend. Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't think I did, my friend. You should not have done that. I appreciate that a massive amount. But what some brands do is they just concentrate on bringing out new releases of copies. You know what I mean? If I was a brand, but you can see it, can't you? You can see, I'm not going to say their names, but a Homage brand comes out with a Submariner Homage, and the sales are going, and then half of the team think, or whoever made them are thinking, do you think we should make some of our own watches now? And the other half are thinking, we could do, but how many of them would we sell? That's a good question. I mean, and if you was to sell your own design, it wouldn't be 60 quid, would it? With the stainless steel, you'd have to go in the market with micro brands and you'd have to sell them at 250 quid, but the fact that there's complete copying going on and homaging going on, watch homaging, that they can charge this really cheap price, so this is the thing that we've got. And what I think of homage watches is I think they're an amazing gateway drug. It was Terry Fenner who said it, I think on the YouTube community post that we had. He said it was homage watches that got me into collecting watches, and that's flipping brilliant. That is amazing, isn't it? That is superb. For Terry to have got into homage watches, obviously he doesn't do it now. He's all into his vintage Seikos, but the gateway was a homage watch. I've tried to do the same with my dad. I bought him a Pagani. I got him a see-through case back with an NH35, so he can really appreciate that this is a machine and not a quartz puppy. And I think it has. I think it's working. I think he's looking at my shows and he's thinking, "Oh, that's a nice watch," and all that. And so yeah, James, I think San Martin is a good brand to talk about when it comes to this topic. They started out doing homages. This is brilliant. See, this is good. This is what I personally like to see. It's a growth and a development, and you can see that it would give them a platform to do something. It's so hard for a micro brand to come up with a new blooming watch. You don't know the things that they have to go through, and let's not beat around the bush. Most micro brands, where are they made? In China, probably right next to where blooming, I'm not going to say the names, but homages are made. There are very good Chinese factories and Chinese watch makers, and there are also diddly dodgy ones. To charge £50 for a watch that supposedly goes 200 meters down, has been pressure tested, has got an NH35 movement inside them, for 50 quid, all stainless steel. I mean, crikey, who built them? Who built them? The QCs are often a little bit crappy, sometimes crappy, aren't they? But who built the buggers to start with? Was it a young 12-year-old? Was it an old guy? What was it? Someone that was experienced? Did someone with GCSEs making these watches? And how much are they getting paid? Have we got to look into how much they're getting paid? Because if the watches are 50 quid, are they getting £1 an hour to make these things? That's what goes through my head with Homage watches. Now, Glyn's had an awesome he's had an awesome point there. I think, do you mean advertising, my friend? Because I think that's great. Yes, I mean, the likes of a Pagani Design doesn't have brick and mortar shops, doesn't advertise their stuff only in like AliExpress when they're, when it's there to be had, isn't it? But they don't have advertising budgets so that they can take the costs down. That's a great point, my friend. That's a fantastic point. Do you ask that about your trainers? Here we go. Do you ask that about your trainers? We can say this about anything, can't we? I mean, Glyn made a point to me about Levi's. Levi's were the first jeans. But do you wear Levi's now? Now, I haven't done in the past. I do now, though. I had a lovely pair for Christmas, a lovely blue and a black pair. And I've got to say, there is a massive difference between those Levi's and, say, a Topshop or a Topman set of jeans. You know what I mean? There is a difference. Now, obviously, they don't have the copyright. And do they have the patent? Obviously not, because maybe jeans were made before Levi's, and Levi's ain't got a leg to stand on when it comes to suing the likes of Topshop. So, crikey, we can talk about everything like that, can't we? So, yeah. That's my thoughts. Now, what I don't like to see, and it didn't really bug me to start with when I saw Glyn's, because I was lucky enough to have Glyn's L'Oreal in for review. He actually bought it on AliExpress, and then AliExpress sent it straight to me before I sent it back to him. But what I don't like is the bottom part. If you look under the hand stack, and I didn't properly twig it, and I didn't have a go at it a lot or enough. Superlative chronometer, officially certified. And Glyn bought this for 50 quid. That is what is not allowed. Now, is L'Oreal, where L'Oreal is made, are they just a brand under the 12 o'clock marker away from being a fake watch? And we are all together, aren't we, when it comes to fake watches? You take L'Oreal automatic out of this watch and you put Rolex with a little crown, and that is a fake watch. And we are all against these bad boys, aren't we? That is what I don't like, the deception. There's no way that's a superlative chronometer certified watch. It's got an NH35 in it, or a clone of the NH35. That's what I don't like. I don't like that. Now, I have owned a Homage. I have owned a Homage in the past, and it was a Smith's Everest. Now, Smiths went out of business in the 70s due to the quartz crisis. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of companies went belly up. And Eddie, there's a guy called Eddie, Time Factors, who bought the name and the rights to start making Smith's watches again. Now, I didn't have my Explorer at the time. I loved the Explorer. You know why? Because of my granddad had one, and I was looking for a small black dial watch that looked a little bit like my granddad's, and it doesn't look more different than this sort of 1016 looking Homage, does it? So I bought it. I bought it from Time Factors, and over time, it just didn't sit right with me. I know that Smiths had English movements inside, and if they weren't English movements, they were maybe Swiss. This had a Miyota 8000 series, and I'm not a fan of Miyota 8000 series. The grind on them's awful. The feel of the rotor's not very nice on them. I know now that Eddie has changed the engines in these, but I knew that a Smith's watch went to Mount Everest with Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay with the Rolex Oyster Perpetual, and I thought, yes, let's do Smiths, because I'm proud to be British. It's a British company, and it looks like my granddad's watch. That is why I got this thing. But over time, I thought, no, it's not sitting right. It says Great Britain below the 6, and I think this isn't Great British. This isn't British. This has got a Japanese movement inside it. I don't know if it's not the watch. It's not actually the watch that went to Mount Everest. What went to Mount Everest was this thing. I wish I could own one of these. This is the watch I should have owned, this thing, because this is the watch that was worn, the type of style watch with the small seconds hand. That was the puppy that went to Mount Everest, and that's the one I should have had. So yeah, it sort of got to me, it niggled with me, and I had to sell it. I sold it. I sold it, and it was done. So I did own one, but I slowly decided to, no, see you later. You know, we just had 123 in watching right now, and I am incredibly grateful. Can you all please get out of the comments chat and click like on this show, please, if you haven't done already, because there are a lot more people around the world that need to see this t-shirt. Yes. Now for $100, oh, I want a Rolex Submariner. For $100, I want a Rolex Submariner. But I don't want a Rolex Submariner. No. Now, there are plenty of watches out there for around £100 that look like this, like a Submariner, that have the inspiration of a Submariner. You know, you've got the round indices, applied indices on this watch. You've got the sort of beveled edge bezel on it. You've got the crown guards. You've got the crown at 3 o'clock. Yet this looks like an Orient Ray 2. Does it not? It looks like an Orient Ray 2. And you can be proud of owning this watch. And someone saying, oh, is that a Rolex? No, this is an Orient Ray 2. And they're a company. They're a company that are doing different things. They're their own company. Would be proud of owning this £100 watch more so than I would £100 worth of Homage, in my opinion. Okay. Now this watch, you probably wouldn't. This is an automatic. You know, it's hand winding. It doesn't have a sapphire crystal, which for £100 you could probably get a Homage that does have sapphire crystal, and it probably would have a display case pack as well. Phil, are you joking, Phil? I don't think we've ever seen a yellow one, my friend. Phil, I'm massively appreciative to you. Thank you very much, my friend. That will go towards a light. All the money that I get goes towards equipment, and it will go to a light that I need to get for the studio. Massive thank you. Thank you very much. Now, there are amazing brands that do superb stuff homage wise, isn't there? There's Steinhardt, a Swiss brand that make quite expensive homage watches. And I don't really know what to say about that. I know that Steinhardt do other watches, but yeah, I'm not sure. I certainly might personally. I know if I'd had one to hand, I would look at it and I'd feel it and I'd think, crikey, yeah, this is a £500 watch. But £600 on a copy, a sort of a copy, it does not sit with me. It doesn't sit well with me. Now, obviously, I've got to have one in, and I'd like to have. These watches in. I'd like to Steinhardt, definitely would. So yeah. I mean, those sorts of watches. I'm not going to say no to any watches that get sent to me or I have a look at. I will take a good look at these bad boys and I will give my honest opinion. And at the end of Homage watch reviews, at the end I say, this is bloody good. this is pretty good what you get. But it's a copy. That is it. That's all I can say. And then, you know, you got to go to the likes that I know, Just One More Watch, Jody, who does homages. I know he did a whole set of about 7 or 8 homage watches to the Submariner, and he had an actual Submariner from Mr. X, and he was basically saying what he thought were the best ones. I think I honestly do feel that you're entitled to get what you want. I think homages are a great gateway drug for us watch enthusiasts that want to get into watches, you know, really want to get deep in. That's a great start. Seiko SNK 801 or 802, or whatever it is, you know, a Seiko 5 for me. It was actually the Seiko SKX, and I bought that for around £140. That was my gateway drug. That was the gateway. Now, obviously, there are the watches, particularly Seiko, the money's going up, isn't it? And yet homage watches are nice and cheap, you know. So I think it's a great thing. I think it's a great watch to own to start with. And I completely agree with the other fact that I might never own a Rolex Submariner. So I want to see what the dimensions actually feel like on my wrist. And you are entitled to that opinion. That is absolutely fine. If you're just a one watch guy and you've got 60 quid to spend, you know, and you don't want an original design, you know, like a Vostok Amphibia or a Casio Duro that is a homage. Let's face it, is a homage, but it's its own thing. Or you've got £100 to spend, you know, that's fine. If you want to do that, you're entitled to do that. You know, we still love you. I love you. There's nothing wrong with it. Do you know what I mean? We have got 130 people in the chat. This is probably the most we've had at one time. Sanjay said he's going off to take his kids outside. This is a great point from Stormy Daniels. Yes, I do love the 1963. And yes, it was not made in the factories that the original was made. My friend, I completely understand that. You would have to say it's a homage, it's a reissue. I'd sooner call it a reissue than a homage, but it is a homage. It's a homage to a watch that came out 60 years ago, 50 years ago. So yeah, I do love that. Now this is what I really, Phillips made a great point. Now the Zin Navitimer. Now Bobby Legs loves watches. If you haven't seen his YouTube channel, he loves his German watches. He's just bought a Zin 90 something. It's a Navitimer. Now Zin bought the rights from Breitling, you know, in the 70s when, you know, money was getting very tight because of the quartz crisis. They didn't win the rights. They bought the rights to make Navitimers, basically with Zin on the top, but they bought the rights to it. Now, why can Pagani Design not make a Breitling Navitimer? And if they can't, why not? Why can't they? Because if they can't, why can they do a Rolex Submariner? You don't see, you know, you don't see what, Chronos. You don't see L'Oreal. You don't see, I don't know, Steel Dive coming up with a Navitimer. Why is that? Why is that? Is that because Breitling were the originals for that design and that format? It's very interesting. It's something I need to really look into. But, you know, for me personally, the way the Rolex Submariner's treated, I could, you know, if I've got, you know, £50,000 on me, I could start a micro brand up and do a Navitimer. And I could put, I don't know, I could put a Seagull ST19 in it, you know, that's my chronograph, lovely movement inside. And that's me. And I could call it, not so Breitling Navitimer. And, you know, would I get done for it? You know, that is the big question, isn't it? That is the question. Now, I'm sorry, I have completely gone off on a huge rant. There are loads of people. There are loads of people that are in the chat that have made some amazing stuff. what I'd love to know as well, guys, is what was your gateway watch? Was it a Homage? Was it a Seiko 5? Was it one of your dad's old watches? Because obviously the gateway was the Seiko SKX, but I always had watches before. I had the dreaded Apple Watch as well. And my granddad with his Explorer, James Bond with the Rolex Submariner. Those were my imprints. Michael J. Fox with the CA53W. Digital watches. I don't know if you've seen my Instagram or my YouTube, but I've recently bought another watch of my childhood from 1991. I might do a review on this. It's basically new old stock. It's a Mario game. It's amazing game and watch. If you want me to do a review of that, I will most certainly do that. I've also got a TS 100 that I had as a kid. Awesome vintage Casio. Philip Black, when was the last time Rolex brought out a new model line in SS sports watches, stainless steel sports watches? It's a good question, my friend. I think the honest probably reason is they haven't needed to. All they need to do is change the color of the bezel, and to Rolex, that is like, that is mind bending, isn't it? Oh my God! Did you see that? They've taken the sides of the case down 1 millimeter. Well, it's a completely different watch, isn't it? Oh my God! The reviews, the forums. Oh my God, this is crazy. And every other sort of level-headed sort of reviewer going, obviously the upgraded in the movements are pretty special. Let's not say that. Let's not discredit them on that. But yeah, all they got to do is come up with a slight change of size. Bring back the 36 Explorer, and it's like a brand new watch. They don't need to do massive things. They basically made. Let's face it, Philip. They basically made the wheel, and you can't make a better wheel, can you? That's the thing. You could make a bigger wheel. You could make several wheels, but you can't better that wheel, that Submariner. But they have over time. Let's not poo-poo that. From the 50s and onwards, I wish they stopped at the 50s with that lovely gilt dial and that big crown. Oh, that would be lovely. Alfie, there is nothing wrong with any brand. It's just the nonsense that's said by some people that buy them. Look at that. He's got a good point there, hasn't he? Alfie, you've already done a super chat, my friend. You put your money towards a lovely watch. I love this from Fraser Nass Russell. My dad's Seema, then on to Seiko's. Look at that. That is sensational. I love looking at, just scouring these down. Gareth makes a good point. Definitely the Sky Dweller. I was going to say the Sky Dweller, or what's James Cameron's watch? The blooming Juggernaut Sea Warrior, whatever it's called. That was basically a Submariner on steroids, wasn't it? So yeah, Junkers Bauhaus. I love that, Philip Black. That's good. Let's talk to Castillo Jorge. Nobody ever notices my watches. Kind of turns me off from looking at straight up copies. Why bother? Something similar with its own distinct features. See, that's my ethos, Castillo. That is my ethos. But I completely understand if someone. I want to know what a Submariner feels like on my wrist. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I've handled about 4 Submariners, and I've handled 4 or 5 Homages, and there's nothing. There's no comparison whatsoever. The only comparison is the look-ish, and maybe the sizes. Okay, but when you get one in hand, it's a completely different ball game. But I understand what someone that is desperate to know what that feels like on the wrist, like a Nautilus, like a Patek Philippe or a Royal Oak. I'm never going to be able to afford one of those watches, and I completely understand if someone wants to have a that case on their wrist just to see what it feels like. Not because they can go, ooh, what's that? Sorry, what, my watch? Oh, it's a Royal Oak. Copy. No, yeah, it's £30,000. Yeah, right. Yeah, £30,000 this watch, yes. I got it from an AD car boot sale. But yeah, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Look at this from Average Joe. Psycho Foo. Thank you very much, my friend. Just by an Orient. You are absolutely right. That is a superb. I think Orients are the new Seikos right now, aren't they? Average Joe, I was very close to getting you on this show, my friend. I don't know what you're up to, but we're gonna finish in it in a bit. I want a Breitling and have watches that cost £100 that get more attention. I buy my watches because I like them, not to impress others who don't care. I think if we were all to spend or to buy watches so that they can be seen or show them off, I think you'd stop pretty quick, wouldn't you? Because you would have to be some sort of, well, you'd have to start playing with your hair a lot more often with your left hand. You'd have to, crikey, you sort out the knits, but you'd have to go, you have to do hi. You'd have to shake hands with the left hand just so you notice what's going on. Navneet Krishnan, thank you very much, my friend. Wow, look at that. That is a fantastic profile picture. Are you on a boat, my friend? Because if you're not, you could be in trouble there. Glenn, thank you very much, my friend. Yes, I am totally with you, 100%. Thank you very much. You don't need to do that, my friend. You do enough for the channel. Orient swords are stellar. Steel dive. There is a lot of love for steel dive. There is a lot of love for steel dive. 90% of us can't or won't spend £2,000. Me. So if you can buy a look-alike for less, why not? Life is short. Do it. Do it. Yeah, well, that is a great point, my friend. I think that's a great way to go. Honestly, you cannot get the same feeling from a Rolex with these Homage watches. But yeah, to get the look, if that's what you are after, then I think that's great. But honestly, there are Orients out there and Seikos out there and micro brands out there that are doing amazing things for the money, and you don't need to go down that clomage route. When I say clomage, if you don't know what clomage is, it's a homage clone. There are homages like this. This is a homage of basically Tudor Submariner history. Basically, they're 60, 70 years of going. You've got the case of a 58 Submariner Tudor sub, and you've got the snowflake hands from the 70s and all sorts of stuff, and the gilt hands from the 50s Rolexes. A clomage is a complete clone. It's like that L'Oreal I showed just now. Complete copy. All that is left, I'm showing it again, Glenn. All that is left is the just putting the brand out and sticking Rolex on it. James, I have not yet, James. I have not tried a slightly expensive Homage. I can see from watching your reviews, I can totally see that they're on another level. Absolutely, from the QC to the finishing on the cases and every detail, 100%. It still doesn't go against what you know what I mean? Like Paul McCartney yesterday, and some D-bags come up with a cover of it that has made it, better sound, better everything, better vocal, but it's not that 1965 original. That's the only thing. But I am very interested. I need to get on the case and ask you to send me something, my friend. And obviously I will plug the show as well. I will definitely get a San Martin watch. Jacob mentioned a lot already, but if you are strapped for cash, join the Fostock cult. Absolutely. That would be fantastic. Listen, I knocked Glynn's Vostok a little bit. I definitely knocked the Kommandersky a little bit, didn't I? You know, the bezel for one really did me in. But it's its own look, isn't it? It's its own thing. And you've got to give them a huge respect for it, for making that. I'm with the wife after this, my friend, but I will definitely be skipping in and skipping out on Average Joe. If you are on Instagram, follow this guy, Average Joe Watch Reviews, and he is doing an Instagram live straight away. Obviously, it'll be great for you to follow him on Instagram and YouTube. Yes, please, James. Yes, please, James. I'll have a San Martin. I love some of the reviewers. You know, they give it the old San Martin or a San Martin. You know, it's San Martin, isn't it? That's what it is. Oh, here we go. I like Darren Harriet. That profile, my friend. Let me look at it. Is he? It's Darren Black, Sir Edmund Hillary. Look, he's on what looks like a peak somewhere. Our Homage is what Primark are to Dolce and Gabbana. That is good. Don't make me laugh, my friend. Official mug. You know where to find it. Yeah, possibly. I think possibly right, my friend. I think you've got a good Alfie, 100%, my friend. If you can, I've got a new PO box, my friend. If you're all right sending it via PO box, of course I will take one of your Rolexes and never give it back. But no, thank you very much. We'll talk outside if you want. It depends where you live. We can meet or something. I have not forgot about the watch meetup. I did put it on my Facebook group. If you are not a member of the Facebook group, please do so. There's a link under the description of all of my shows, a Linktree link, and that will take you to the Facebook group. That's the only place I will give my the followers discounts to whatever I am given and stuff, and that is where the true hardcore fans are. I'll tell you what I do like, Primark PJs at Christmas time, the onesies. Yes. I've had a tiger onesie, I've had a Ghostbuster onesie, I've had everything. I've had absolutely everything, and I do like them. Absolutely. We've come to an hour. So at the hour, last few minutes, there's 116 of you in the chat, which is amazing. We did have 130 something, which is a new world record. Will it ever be beaten? I don't know. Psycho Fu, if you don't use Facebook, don't worry about it, my friend. I appreciate everything you do. That's brilliant. So what we'll do to finish off with, we have to do a little bit of Q&A. Is there any questions that you have? I'm going to properly look at the comments now. If there are any questions you have, it doesn't have to be about homages. It can be anything you want. Let me know and let's talk. Yes, I've won a few new, they're not new, they're old wrestlers. So WWF retro wrestlers from the 90s on eBay. I've got, if you know, I've got a few. Oh, crikey, see you, Matilda. I've got new little figures, British Bulldog. I'm the British Bulldog. So yeah, I've got lots of little things here. And I've just won some more wrestlers, which is great on eBay. Oh, I'm just going for it, aren't I? I'm just going for it. So yes, thank you, Psycho Fu. Thank you very much. Good. I will put that under the title. Great stream, man. Recommended by Psycho Fu. I like, what's that top? What's this top? This is a Zara special, Alfie. I got it because my wife's favorite color is green, daughter's favorite color is purple, and it's also the colors of Wimbledon. And you know I like my tennis. Here we go. Where's the best place to buy an Orient Kamasu in Europe? I would honestly pay a little bit more and go Amazon. You've got security with Amazon, my friend. Yes, and it might be a little bit more money. but I would go Amazon. Anybody else got a better place for a Nelson Tiote Paris to get a an Orient Kamasu? Here we go. I love all this stuff. Sorry, I'm missing a lot, aren't I? What's the largest watch you own? Well, I've got the Casio Oak. That's pretty big, Sam. I've also got the Seiko Arni. Stupid cough. I've got the Seiko Arni reissue, and that is huge. Not lug to lug, it's not, but it's like a 45 case. It's huge, but I don't care because it makes me feel strong, my friend. Every time I put it on, I have to be strong to wear it. To be honest, it's giving me some extra muscles. Jim, your coat, absolutely, it's going well, isn't it, Jim? It's just this tickly cough. It's really doing my Swede in. I think I've had it for almost a week, but there you go. Do you think interviews should be in a professional tennis job description? Do you think interviews should be in a professional tennis player's job description? Probably, Perry. Yes, probably. What about Timex? Timex Autos. I don't know, my friend. I don't know. Timex Autos. They got the Q Timexes, haven't they? The automatics. I like reissues. I like their reissues. I don't know if they own the engine inside them or whether it's a Miyota or not, but the case and everything on the outside is of a reissue, and being Timex, I would imagine they probably have shares or own the company that make it, you know. So yeah. Honest Watch Reviews, got my Kamasu from Ketchy Q. That is, thank you very much for that, my friend. Absolutely too big. Absolutely. Oh my God, this is crazy stuff, is it, from George? If you had 10K to spend on a watch, what would it be? If I could only get one watch, I would probably, you know, it sounds very boring, but I have held one, and the only diver that I thought is better feeling than this one is a Submariner No Date. That would be, and I put my name on the list for 17 years, probably, my friend. Or I give my money to my brother, who puts it on crypto shares, dabbles it, and then still put my name on a Rolex. So yeah. Purple Fax Man, he just didn't arrive. I forgot the wig. He just didn't arrive, and he will be around next week. I guarantee it. We'll be talking about designs of watches, like perfect design watches, symmetry and asymmetrical watches next week. So like the best designed watches. That's what we're going to be doing. Anyway, I'm going to go now. Thank you very much for everybody that is watching. Sorry I couldn't put your chat up on here, but I had a lovely rant, didn't I? There's my standpoint on homages. I love homage watches. I really do like them because, after all, let's face it, a watch is a tool from a bygone era, isn't it? We don't need a mechanical watch on our wrist when we can get a computer on it that tells our heartbeat, our shoe size, and our mother's maiden name. Let's face it, huh? So I like watches that give me the feeling of the 50s, the 60s, but in a modern, you know, refined engine, you know, refined workmanship and everything else. So that's why I love reissues. I do love reissues, and I love reissues from their own brands. Now, we could talk about the prices of Seiko's coming up with reissues and being like £1,000 for a Willard. That's what their 100 years of being around. That is what they are able to charge, because they are a company that has made 7 squillion watches. And so there we go. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've have not desubscribed after that. I love all of you, all watch lovers, and there is definitely a place for homage watches, clomages. There definitely is. It was just my opinions. That was all. And I hope you all have a fantastic week. And I'm going to give you a double Longines show next week. 2 heritage, 2 reissues of some of Longines' finest watches. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. And like always, I will see you in a tick tick.